Welcome back. Hopefully everybody had a chance to eat some food, and I figured just to bring us back from lunch, just to kind of bring us back on a lighthearted note, I would tell you guys, since we're going to be talking a little bit about SEO and web traffic, I would start with a joke. Does anybody know why the SEO expert got frustrated on his way to work? Too much traffic. Go figure. That's terrible. Don't laugh at that. All right, so I'm really excited about this this next session because it's something that I've had a chance to kind of see and watch over the last couple months, and I want to welcome Amanda Nachman, the CEO of College Magazine, and to just kind of preface her presentation, I want to really kind of dote on basically what has happened with her site over the last less than a year, 9-10 months. 130% increase in organic traffic, 150% increase in top 10 keywords, 3x increase in digital ad revenue, all of this in less than a year. Amanda, I'm sure everyone is going to be very excited to learn how you did all these things. Everyone, Amanda Nachman, the CEO of College Magazine.
Thanks, Tyler. Hi, everyone. As Tyler said, I'm the publisher of College Magazine. We are the guide to college, the ultimate guide to college. We're written for students, by students. We cover everything from how to write that first resume, so all the resume virgins out there, to how to meet the girl down the hall. So we answer all those queries. And, well, we had this challenge, which was how to grow our traffic. So who would like more traffic? Yeah, me too. So, that was a challenge. How do we increase traffic? And how do we do it through writing quality articles? Articles that I'm proud of, articles that our team is proud of. And so we knew that 80% of our readers were coming through search, yet we had 0% search strategy. Just by accident that we were ranking, completely unintentionally ranking for certain keywords. So what we learned and what I'm going to share with you today are three things. One, how to grow your current content. Two, how to develop an SEO strategy for your future content. And three, how to scale that strategy.
And so, Amanda, I guess let's start with that first point, because I think that's probably the one that probably is exciting for a lot of people to hear about, is how did you grow your current articles?
Yeah, so who feels like they're an SEO boss? Okay, not many hands, right? And I'm not to say that I'm an SEO boss, but I would say I've come a long way, and I really do have Tyler and Azoic to thank for that. And no, they did not ask me to say that. But I did pull Tyler aside after the last conference because he spoke a little bit about SEO, and I said, can I pick your brain a little bit about this? And what I learned was that I needed to learn SEO, not just know the term search engine optimization and be able to throw it around, but to actually understand how to use it to our advantage as a publisher. So I invested in a tool. This one happens to be SEMrush, but there are so many tools out there. I'm not promoting this one in any way. What I say is to go into the tool and look at what keywords you're ranking for. Now, you all know your top landing pages. You don't need to look at those. We all know where your main traffic is coming from. What I like to do is look at the keywords where we're ranking in positions 9 through 30. This is positions. So this means they're on page 2 or 3 of Google. Who likes to go to page 2 or 3 of Google? No one. Yeah. So let's work on how do we get those. Those are your opportunities. How do we get them to page 1? So what we do is first we look at those keywords and we see who are the competitors, who's on page 1, what are they doing? Do you love it or you just like it? And if you just like it and you know you can beat it, that's your opportunity.
So what you're talking about, Amanda, is basically doing research to figure out where you have existing content that is right on the cusp of just major traffic, and potentially what ones are your low-hanging fruit, right? So once you identify these, what do you do with it? What do you do with this content so that you can measurably increase your traffic and grow?
Yeah, so there are some tried and true strategies that you can implement into your content to improve that ranking. And so I'm going to share this with you. Number 1, do not delete or change your current content. You're already ranking unintentionally, and you don't want to guess why you're there. Just don't mess with why you got there, right? Then you want to add content. But don't just add any content, right? Add what's going to make you competitive, what's going to have you beat out who's on page 1. And maybe there's some questions that you had when you made that search query that you felt that your competitors weren't quite answering. So answer those questions. We like to include a lot of primary sources. We like to make sure that we are getting those expert interviews in our articles. Part of College Magazine and the experience is we are a writer training program for aspiring journalists out there. And that's the part that really warms my heart from this whole experience, is because I don't always get to see the reader who read our resume virgin article and got the job, but I do get to see our students that came to us, went through our writer training, and now work at National Geographic Magazine or Rachel Ray Magazine or Washingtonian or Mashable. And they'll even come back and say, I use what I've learned at College Magazine and these journalism skills in my current job. So we really do encourage our writers to write quality content, quality competitive content. And part of that is going out and interviewing the experts. So I'd highly encourage, if you want to be a quality content site, to go out there, get those primary sources. We include a lot of multimedia, really beautiful imagery. Sometimes we encourage our students to take their own images. We include video, which also helps with time on site. We enhance the readability. We'll break up lengthy paragraphs. We'll bold key phrases. The reading experience on a website is so different than anything in print. And believe me, I've seen the transition. I actually started out as a print. You could hold it in your hands, tangible 32-page glossy magazine.
College Magazine was actually a printed website at one point.
Yes. If anybody has questions about what a print magazine is at the end, I'd be happy to answer that. I've handed out 40,000 of them. We work on, achieving that readability, which is when someone may be scrolling to the end of that article, but then something catches their eye. So how do you catch their eye, right? The imagery, the bolding. Like I said, no deleting or changing. And then we embrace the keyword. So if your article is about puppies, okay, don't write puppies 100 times. You want to embrace the keyword authentically. You want to make sure it's in your title, your headings, in that intro paragraph at least once. Remind your reader, oh, that's what you were searching for. And now here you go. Here's your answer. We also put in our image alt text and meta description. If you're not sure what that is, I'll show you in the next slide.
Yeah, something Ilya was talking about a little bit later today. And so instead of looking at this just a macro level, let's take a look at an example you have here of a very specific article where you were able to basically achieve the things that we're talking about. So this keyword FSU, do I want to know what those things mean?
Oh, yeah. So the reason Tyler asked me to talk today is because Tyler gets text messages from me when we see our current content rise in the ranks. And I'm like, Tyler, remember, we're on page 1 now. So if you all want, I can give you Tyler's phone number at the end.
Yeah, please.
And
please,
you can text him too once you've implemented these tactics and seen your articles go to page 1. So...
yeah, please, just everybody, I'll have it up here on the board afterwards, and anybody that wants to send me a text message, that's great.
So this is UFFSU, so that's University of Florida, FSU, Florida State University. So is anyone from Florida, or does anyone know about this rivalry? Yeah, so if you're in those states or you like sports, you know about this deep-seated rivalry. And we're a college magazine, so of course we like to write articles like 15 reasons why FSU students are cooler than UF students. And we saw that we ranked for this pretty decently searched keyword, 2,400 searches per month. Some additional traffic I'd like to have, right? But we were ranked number 18. That's about page 3. But we saw this as a great opportunity because who was on page 1? Everybody was just talking about sports. But we thought, I bet a lot of people are using that term to they're wondering which school should I go to? And so we saw that as an opportunity. So we went and we interviewed students that got accepted to both schools, but chose FSU. And so we went in, we wrote those additional quotes in. We also added imagery, we added more video, and just that more content that I talked about earlier. We also embraced the keyword. So here you'll see it's in the meta description, UFFSU, and that's when, if you do something Facebook share, you'll see that that text, that's where your meta description shows up. And here you'll see the alt text. So that's, you can go and you can edit your image details, and it's called alternative text. We put the keyword in there. That's telling the search engine, hey, that's what this picture is about. It's related to this article. And so it's just another opportunity for you to reinforce your keyword. And as you can see over here, the results, when you search UFFSU, in just 3 months, we now rank number 3.
So that's one way we can start to look at. Oops, I had my mic off so we don't get feedback. So that's one example of working on your existing content, right? But one I think is really interesting is kind of how you applied a lot of these same fundamental elements to your future content, which when we talked before, you were only focused on future content, and now you've kind of looked at your existing content, but you're applying a lot of those same philosophies to writing your existing content. I thought this was really fascinating. So could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so going through this process has helped us see our site as more of a living guide, right? Now we're focused on how do we improve that current content, but originally we only just focused on writing new content, training our students and helping them build their portfolio and creating more guides about college. So we still do produce a lot of future content. And so before we were just guessing, what are students worried about? What are they curious about? What could they be searching that we could be the answer to? Now we can actually research that and write articles with intention. So what we did first was we said, okay, let's really determine, let's zoom into some verticals. And a couple verticals we wanted to zoom in on were travel, finance, and politics. Some were verticals that we chose because of some of the partners that we saw opportunities with. We saw there was some opportunities based on the competitors. The politics one I want to bring up is because we have an incredible reach amongst the college audience who are our future leaders and change leaders. And, you know, to me, again, it comes back to the purpose and meaning of this. And if we can make an impact with them, you know, that really makes me feel that this all has a really great purpose to our, you know, why we're creating this content. So part of it was we wanted to help students understand and be able to navigate the political world so they felt that they could make a difference. And part of that also was we have a whole series now called Powerful Women Leaders, which we found to be a really great keyword, where we interview, and we've gotten interviews with all these senators and congresswomen and like powerful women leaders who are going from college to and sharing their journey from college to change maker, so that we can inspire young women in college to now start their political careers now and hopefully achieve gender parity in Congress. Because I don't know if anyone knows, sorry, slight tangent here, but that there's only 20% of women in Congress, yet we have obviously 50% of women in our country. So, but back to the concept of politics, we thought, okay, well, let's write some articles about how do you become a senator? What we found were some examples of other keywords through that search process, such as how much does a senator make, that had some really great search volume. And even the competitor was US News, but they weren't answering the question the way we would have liked to see it. And we're a college magazine, so we do things, you know, we make it fun, we make it exciting. So we answered this query, how much does a senator make? And you can see this article is written this March, and we now rank number 1 for how much does a senator make? Another thing that we do is we ask our team, we say, you know, what queries do you have? And then we search those search volumes.
How much does the senator make, and why is it too much? Although I do think that it's probably something that is universally agreed upon.
You guys are going to have to look that up, and I promise you're going to like the answer that you get. I think it's around 190,000.
Again, you can, I guess they can Bing it, I suppose.
Bing. What's that?
So, you've developed a really interesting way that you've sort of scaled this for your team and allowed, you know, what you have is lots and lots of students that are writing a lot of this content. You've given them a way to execute on this that's actually really easy and actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, a lot of times we tell our students the best editing happens before the article is even written. So we do a lot of our strategy and a lot of our planning using a tool called Trello. Who's familiar with Trello? Yeah. Okay. So you guys know what this is about. Yeah. Awesome collaborative list making tool. This is how we structure all of our editorial content. We put our keyword on the card in advance so the student knows, hey, this is about student loans. This is a search volume opportunity. That's pretty exciting for a student. You're like, I could reach 246,000 people with my article if I listen to what College Magazine is teaching me. That's a really great thing they can put on their resume if they rank number one. And we put the competitor in there saying, hey, look at the competitor. And then we teach them how to write competitively. We also explain what we want this to answer, but then they have a lot of creative freedom with their writing and the structure of the article itself.
And this has really become a core competency of the business, right? So this idea of scaling, training, tracking, and learning. So you've really, it's really a matter of becoming a smarter business over the course of the last year that's really led to this growth, right?
Yeah. Now, everything we do is with intention, and we are teaching SEO. We're teaching our students how to do this competitive research, how to think competitively, how to add value to what they're offering to the readers online, right? Not to just regurgitate what's already there, but how to find what's not there and be a guide. And we're teaching them these incredible competitive writing tactics. We're tracking the success. So we're giving them shout outs. Hey, your keyword made it to page 1. Congrats. We're noting what works and what doesn't work. We're constantly learning. We just decided to create a video team, and because we know that adds more value for our reader. We launch giveaways where we can engage our reader with cool trips to Thailand or some back to school shopping spree. And we also offer affiliate and original products. So when we know that an article is doing really well, like 20 gifts to get your parents, we put some of our own products in there or affiliate products, and we say, this is where you can get it. So we're an incredible tool in addition to being a content guide.
And so not only has this built a lot of value for your students and your writers, but it's actually built a lot of brand equity as well. And when I mean brand equity, I mean your value not only to your audience, but also to advertisers, right?
Exactly. Thanks. Yeah. So
those mic buttons are kind of tricky. I've tried to make that transition a couple times today, and yeah, it's not the easiest thing.
Yeah. So, we're thinking about quality content versus more content. And we are also thinking about, like I said, where to place those affiliates in those really high ranking pieces, or moving forward that we're ensuring that our affiliates are in articles that we know are going to rank. And then also we brag that we have this knowledge when we pitch directly to partners. So for example, we partner with the NAM Foundation. They are a foundation that promotes music education, and they offer scholarships for students, and they wanted to engage college students. So we wrote an article, top 10 college marching bands, with the keyword best college marching bands, 720 search volume. And as you can see, it now ranks number 2. We wrote this in November. So that's some really great added value for your partners, that you can say, not only am I going to write this really great piece about you, it's going to be shared 2,400 times, it's going to have 5,000 plus readers, but it's also going to rank and continue to rank and be the gift that keeps giving for your brand and driving more students to your scholarships and opportunities.
So as I mentioned before, it's really a product of operating a smarter business. You essentially focused on your low-hanging fruit by improving your existing content. You became more strategic in how you scaled your new content that you created, and then you also have built significant value in your brand for advertisers, and that has really, would you say that's been the 3 things that have contributed to your growth over the course of the last year?
Exactly. Those are the 3 takeaways right there. Thanks, Tyler.
Yeah, the Master of Transitions. Now we have, Amanda has been nice enough to join us for our end of the day panel. So she'll be answering questions at the end of the day along with some of our other panelists, you can send questions in. We'll also take questions live, town hall style. But if you have any questions for Amanda, we have a couple minutes left, but we'll take maybe 2 or 3 questions. Yeah.
Hi, thank you for your presentation. On one of your earliest slides, you said don't change or delete content. What do you mean don't change content? Because we've had quite a bit of success with changing it and moving up our rankings.
Yeah, I think I say that because I don't want to go in and add, when I'm recommending adding a lot of content, don't add between the lines, which could maybe hurt the readability. But if we notice what's there is really weak, and we want to add new content, we'll move it to the top. And if something in there is just doesn't add any value, yeah, we may tweak it and improve it, but we don't delete it because we don't want to mess with why it currently got to that ranking. But that, if that's working for you, I'm going to say keep going with it. We are working with such a large team of students that we don't want a student accidentally removing, half the article to put their new words in there and then lose why that article should originally be there. So it's really helpful for, I'd say, a large team of writers that maybe not as versed in SEO or still learning.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say largely in my experience, broad advice around like changing content is really difficult to give because usually whenever you're making changes, it's very specific and everything is a little bit different and you have to kind of go off of either data or if you've had experience doing it before and you said you've had success with it, you probably have a pretty good idea of what works for your site and what doesn't. It's really hard to offer broad advice to somebody to say, hey, you should go in and change your content based on this criteria. It's just really hard to set a fixed amount. Other questions?
I guess a lot of like the success is coming from the content, right? On creating content. And you got a team or an army of students writing content for you. That's the secret sauce that I at least interpreted. How did you create this affiliate/recruiting program where you actually get those writers for cents, I guess?
Yeah, a lot of people will say to me now that I've been doing this for a long time, oh, that's genius. You've trapped all these volunteer writers. How did you do this? When I started College Magazine, I was one of those volunteer writers. I was interning for Home and Decor magazine, writing an article all summer, a 3-page spread on doorknobs for free. It was the best. And I put it on my resume. That was the kind of internship experience I craved as a student. So I tried to create that for this concept. And that's how I originally launched College Magazine I wanted to give students an incredible internship experience and get to have all the fun and get to write about something they actually cared about versus doorknobs. So I think that by sharing that passion for creating this learning experience for students, we'll have students come to us or internship directors come to us and say, is this free? So on your end, you're like, oh man, you're getting all this free labor, but they're asking, is it free for the students to even write for you? Like, do they have to pay? Because at the end of the day, they're getting some incredible training. So yes, it's a huge advantage to have the volunteers, but keep in mind, we're not paying them. So the turnover is very high. We do a lot of teaching, a lot of learning, and you can't get mad at them if they mess up. They're just there for fun. So they don't really think about affiliates. They're not thinking about the business, and we don't burden them with that. They're really just building their portfolio and learning how to become a journalist, and this is their space for it.
So the answer to your question is you might be able to trick them into paying to write content for you.
There are some of our competitor they do have them create groups on campus where they have to pay the company. So they actually monetize this even. Yeah.
Hello. I was curious to know what kind of video strategy you have in place.
Yeah, we are so new to video. I'm not going to pretend that we are crushing it in video. Okay, don't even look at our YouTube video page. We have like one article about like what is sex, and you're welcome to watch that video. It's done really well. It's like
who is searching that on YouTube?
It's a really down to earth, like, this is what sex in college is like, and it's like one college student giving it to you real, telling you what it's all about. But yeah, we are trying to create authentic, informative video, and so we're really just telling our students to, hey, be yourself. First, write that script, and we tell them before they film the whole thing, don't waste your time filming even a 90-second video. First, just film 10 seconds so we can then critique what it looks like, because a lot of times the back of their filming is like their bed all disheveled, or like a pot poster or something, or the lighting is off. So we give them that feedback, or we say we can't hear you, or you're talking too fast, and then we help them learn, okay, this is what makes a really great video. We also look at other people in the space that are doing really great videos that we are inspired by. We say, okay, let's see how we can do something like what they're doing, but offer new value.
All right, so Amanda, I'm going to save the rest of the questions for when you're on the panel later today, but thank you very much for joining us. This has been excellent, and thank you again for joining us at Pubtelligence today.
Thank you.